So welcome to tonight's Dharma talk. And in tonight's Dharma talk, I'd like to talk about craving. When the Buddha gave his first discourse to the five ascetics, when it came to describing the second noble truth, he said craving was the cause of suffering. Craving was the cause of dukkha. And of course, he's absolutely correct. However, it's not just craving, it's this kind of dependent arising where craving is a really key feature, a key link in this dependent arising process, this cycle of causes and conditions that lead to us being stuck in dukkha, which is usually translated as suffering, but probably more correctly translated as unsatisfactoriness. So what is it? What is the craving? In Pali it's called tanha, which literally translates as thirst. And it's this insistence. I heard Ajahn Amaro describe when he first heard about this. He was told about Ajahn Amaro is a bhikkhu in the Ajahn Chah tradition. When he went to the monastery as a layperson, someone said to him, "Look out for craving. It's a lie. It's a lie." Craving lies. And he discovered that it was in fact a lie. It's a lie about craving makes us think that when we get what we crave for, we will find enduring happiness. But it's a lie, because when we get what we want, not necessarily does it lead to enduring happiness. So craving is this insistence to get something, to have it, to own it, or craving is this insistence to push something away. We have craving in greed. Greed, ignorance and hatred are the root causes of suffering, or root causes of dukkha. Greed is about craving for something that is pleasant, and hatred usually relates to aversion. It's the craving to push away something, craving to not have it, the craving to get rid of it. And craving is different than wholesome desire. Wholesome desire, chanda in Pali, is this desire it's about being on the path and having wholesome intentions, really, it's like a wholesome desire. You guys had a wholesome desire to come to here tonight. That would not be craving. That could shift to craving if you kind of played with it. But anyway, it's different than chanda. It's different than wholesome desire. So in the teachings, they talk about three types of cravings. And in Pali, they are kama tanha, bhava tanha, and vibhava tanha. Kama tanha literally translates as sensual craving. Bhava tanha literally translates as the craving to be something, the craving to become something. And vibhava tanha is the craving not to be, the craving to not become something, the craving like it's aversion to push away. So kama tanha, sensual craving, of course we have six senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, taste, and mind. And it's craving for the pleasures in relationship to these six senses. So, how does this go? Well, let's say the sense of taste. And I like chocolate, and many of my friends like chocolate. And this is an example. And when I ever eat chocolate, I usually have one piece, and then I feel like I want another piece. And then I want another piece, and I want another piece. And this kind of craving I'm just not quite satisfied or gratified. I'm not quite happy. So I think if I have one more piece, it's going to give me some sort of happiness. But it lies. So craving for chocolate, for example, is the craving of the sense, the taste sense. What about mind sense? Well, it's kind of interesting. I was watching a movie about a month ago. It was a great movie. It was called Spit. It was a sequel to Getting Square. Fantastic movie, really touching. Starred David Wenham, and he acted really well as this kind of failure at being a criminal, basically. Anyway, it was a really great movie, and when it ended, there was this really great shot with the credits coming down the screen, and it was ending, and I was thinking, oh, what can I watch now? I had this craving because it was so pleasurable. I wanted more. I wanted more of that pleasure, which is a sense of the mind. It's a pleasurable mind experience. And another example of this is I'm planning to go to Thailand. And I noticed the other day, I'm planning to go to Thailand. I haven't been there for 12 years. I know Thailand very well. There's a lot of wholesome and wonderful memories about being in Thailand, and I've got a lot of strong connections there. So I noticed I was planning it, and I was thinking about it, and I came down here and I was meditating, and I started planning. My mind started thinking about it. And I looked closely and I thought, this isn't restlessness. Often the hindrance that arises with thinking is about restlessness, but in this case, it was because there was something pleasant about thinking about it. It was something pleasant. And I remember, so this is of the mind. This is craving of the mind. And I remember our dear friend John Hale. I was practicing with him once, mentor and teacher. Many of you know him. And I was looking forward to something. And then I was having an interview with John, and I said, I'm looking forward to something, John. I'm looking forward to, I don't know, going for a walk or what, I can't remember what it was. And I said, is that craving? And he said, yep, Malcolm, that's craving. It's craving. So it's sense craving is for something of the senses. It's usually about pleasure. What about bhava tanha, craving to be somebody? Well, this is the sort of craving, it's a bit more subtle than the sense cravings. It's the craving to become something. We have this need to be an identity. We want to be somebody. And sometimes, we work for years and years and years, and then, some people retire and then they think, what am I if I'm not in my job? What am I? And sometimes there's this feeling of emptiness, that we want to be something. And I remember listening to a talk by Ajahn Amaro again, and he said, with the monastics, sense pleasures are kind of pretty okay because you can just not get associated with them. You just you have one meal a day and all the rest of it. But he said it's really kind of tricky with the desire to become enlightened, to want to be enlightened, to be an identity as an enlightened being. It's really subtle and it's a delusion. So this craving to be somebody, to be something, to be an identity is deep and subtle and tricky. But that's what it is. That's what it is. That's this bhava tanha. And with bhava tanha, the craving not to be, I think this craving is kind of like on a spectrum. At one end of the spectrum, like the really strong end of the spectrum, it's the desire to suicide. It's the wanting to turn it all off. I've worked in mental health I worked in community mental health for about 25 years, and I still have associations with mental health as a clinical psychologist. I see people who just can't stand it anymore. They want to die. They want to turn it off. And unfortunately and sadly, I've had patients when I was working in community mental health, patients who are suicide, and it's this, they just want to turn it off. They crave to push it away. They can't stand it anymore. And at another end of the spectrum, it's just like having enough. And my partner Mary often says to me, well, she hasn't said it for a while now, but you know, getting late in the night, she'll come out to me and say, Malcolm, I've had enough of the day. I'm going to turn it off. I've had enough of the day. It's like she wants to go to sleep. And at one end of at that very subtle end of the spectrum, it's as simple as that. There's another way of understanding this craving not to be, and it's kind of pretty related to the aversion in general. And probably about, when was it? In May, I was travelling. I was down on the Great Ocean Road, and I had to come up. I had to get into an aeroplane and come up for a meeting up in my home in Lismore, and then fly back. And in that process, I got COVID-19. COVID-19. So I'm on holidays in Great Ocean Road, travelling and walking and going around the coast, and get a sore throat, headache, a bit thick in the head, aches and pains and a little bit. And I thought, oh, what a drag. And it was just, it was adverse to the physical sensations, but it was okay. I could still walk, and it was fantastic walking around the coast. But when it came to kind of maybe going to a restaurant or something like that, I thought, wow, I can't go. And I wanted to visit some friends, and I thought, well, I can't really visit them. I can't really go and stay in their house. I'm testing positive for COVID. And there was this sense of identifying as a sick person. And I didn't want to be a sick person. I didn't want to be this sick person. So that's another example of craving, and it's the craving not to be. So thanks very much. I hope it's been a little bit informative, and I think let's come to the end of this short Dharma talk. Thank you. Thank you for listening.